Hey everyone, welcome to our new series on the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. We are excited to go through some of these items with you because there are just an amazing amount of changes, and understanding the nuances of some of these is really important. Now, Jacqueline, you've waited on tables as you know
Mhm.
as you were going through school and everything, and this one's kind of got to get you a little bit excited, right?
For a lot of people that are earning tips and they have this option to not pay taxes on up to $25,000. It's kind of an exciting time. For the no tax on tips, it's important to remember that it is only for $25,000, regardless of whether you're single or married filing joint, even if both individuals in the household are earning tips.
So it doesn't magically double to $50,000 if you have two servers that are married.
No.
Okay,
And you don't stop claiming the tips. So when you get your W-2 at the end of the year, you should get something from your employer saying how much of your income was actually tip income.
gotcha. Now, while the $25,000 doesn't double, it's kind of fixed for every return. What does double is the what we call the modified adjusted gross income phase out. So the modified adjusted gross income is a calculation of what your total income is for that return, whether it be single or married. If you're single or everybody else, it's $150,000. But if you're married, it does double to $300,000, which is a pretty big threshold, actually. All right, so that's actually really important. But if we happen to exceed those modified adjusted gross income phase out, what happens then?
So if you exceed the 150,000 or $350,000 phase out, then your deduction of the tip income will be reduced by $100 for every 1,000 that's over the threshold.
Gotcha. So at some point, you're totally going to phase out of this potentially,
Mhm.
and won't be able to enjoy that deduction that pops in there. Okay, good. So the important thing to understand about the tip income is the law indicates that it has to be reported to you in some capacity. Now, there's some ambiguity with how this will ultimately transpire, particularly for this year, 2025. But we would generally expect this to be reported on somebody's W-2, for example, right?
Yeah.
So with a W-2, an employer is withholding on your income as you go throughout the year and work throughout the year. And one of the things that we're discussing with our clients now is to kind of anticipate a larger refund on your 2025 return. Now, interestingly, although we can kind of understand what this deduction will be for the $25,000, the withholding tables, and think about this, right? Because we are already more than halfway through the year. Your employer's been withholding on you without thinking about this deduction because the law just passed, right? So we are anticipating larger refunds for our clients on their 2025 returns when we get to 2026. Now, we're waiting on some other IRS guidance. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so you started off by talking about waiting tables, which I know is a common one when we think about earning tips, but also we don't know if it's going to include a number of different industries. The law, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, as it's written, says that the IRS has until October 2nd to provide some type of guidance, but it could include hairstylists, Uber drivers, Instacart drivers that are earning tips.
What
So
if my client gives us a tip? Is that something that will be included?
no, it's automatically, it specifically excludes service trade business
Okay,
or
so
service.
doctors, lawyers, accountants, no,
We
no
can't give
dice.
tips. Yeah,
Okay, all right. Well, hey, it was
that's
worth a
right.
shot. So, all right. So let's say that we take 10 of our friends out to dinner and we get to the bottom of that check and we see that gratuity is already included. What happens then?
Well, the way it's written is the tax or the tips have to be specifically voluntary. So if it's automatically included, it doesn't seem as though it is going to be a deduction
Okay.
for no tax on
So
tips.
truly a tip for great service and to say thank you. But hey, if it's me, you still add a little bit of extra on the that mandatory gratuity to help out your servers. You want to thank them. Okay. I do think it's important to understand though that This is an income tax deduction that is not going to exclude any tip income from being subject to the federal employment taxes under FICA, the Federal Insurance Contribution Act. So, still subject to Social Security and Medicare, captured and applied to these tips. It's just an income tax deduction. But it sounds like there is kind of a silver lining for employers on this.
Yeah, so there's still it does expand the FICA tip credit that is available to businesses that pay employees who do earn tips.
Okay.
The other thing is this is an above the line deduction, so you do have to take into consideration that most states start with your AGI and they may not recognize the deduction for state purposes.
Yeah, so to nerd out on that, this is called federal conformity, and it just to use a famous phrase that consultants will have in their back pocket, it depends. It depends on the states, and not every state is going to immediately adopt this as the new law. They don't necessarily have what's called a rolling conformity. They might have static conformity. So check with your state because you might enjoy the federal deduction, pay less federal tax, get a bigger refund on that 25 return in 26, but your state return will not may potentially have you add this back. But hopefully the withholding that you've had in your state will amply cover that. So exciting stuff.
Yeah,
No tax on tips. The last piece that I think I'd mention on this is this is good from 2025 through 2028. So
yeah,
there is a sunset on this currently, but we'll see if this is expanded or extended rather, and how long this ends up going. But that's no tax on tips. All right. Thanks for watching.